Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Marina Grosu from Washington, D.C. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father has established a commission for the new martyrs within the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints ahead of the 2025 Jubilee year. The new commission has been tasked with preparing a catalog of all Christian believers who shed their blood for Christ while bearing witness to the gospel in the 21st century. Pope Francis said that martyrs in the Church are witnesses of the hope that comes from faith in Christ and incites to true charity. He added by saying that hope keeps alive the profound conviction that good is stronger than evil because God in Christ has conquered sin and death. The Commission will search for martyrs from the first quarter of the century and will do so in the future. The Holy Father explained that martyrs are more numerous in these times than in the first centuries. This is seen as a continuation of the legacy of Pope St. John Paul II, who said in his letter Tertio Millennio Adveniente that everything must be done to ensure that the legacy of the unknown soldiers of God's great cause is not lost. A Nicaraguan bishop who was briefly released from prison by the Sandinista regime is once again behind bars. On Wednesday, the authorities returned Bishop Rolando Alvarez to prison after talks between the Daniel Ortega government and the representatives of the Catholic Church ended in a fiasco over the prelate's possible release. This was revealed by the local news outlet Confidencial. There are reports that the talks got stalled over whether or not the bishop would agree to leave the country, as well as over the possible release of other jailed clergymen. In February, the bishop of Matacalba diocese was sentenced to more than 26 years in jail on charges of sedition. This took place after he refused to be deported to the United States. Bishop Alvarez is known for his staunch criticism of the regime. The regime has been in conflict with the Church since 2018, and it is intensifying persecution by jailing priests and expelling missionaries. The Pope's peace envoy, Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, has said that returning Ukrainian children deported to Russia is a key priority. He told the media on Tuesday that he met the Holy Father after his recent visit to Ukraine and Russia as part of an effort to work for peace and to resolve the humanitarian crisis. He said the priority now is to work for those who are most disadvantaged, especially the children. The head of the Italian episcopate also expressed his desire to start a mechanism to bring home the youngest, those who are most fragile. His comments came on the sidelines of the presentation of the book, The Cry of Peace, by the founder of the St. Egidio community, Andrea Riccardi. Meanwhile, an investigative report has revealed that more than 1,000 children are undergoing preventive treatment in Russia. This was revealed by Vaznia Istori, which said that the figure is 3 times higher than those publicly admitted by Russian authorities. In Muslim-majority Pakistan, several Catholic leaders are seeking protection for the minority Christian community in the wake of threats from a banned Islamist terror organization. The Lashkar-e-Jhangvi has called for revenge attacks on Christians following the burning of a Quran in Sweden, which has angered Muslims worldwide. The banned organization has called for suicide attacks on Christians in the country and to make Pakistan hell for those who profess Christianity. In the Islamic country, Christians are often branded or viewed as Western agents, as the faith is associated with the West. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Pakistan said the National Commission for Justice and Peace has alerted authorities about the threats by the banned terrorist group. Faisalabad Diocesan Director of the Interfaith Dialogue Commission, Father Khalid Rashid Asi, met with police officials to discuss the security concerns of Christians in the country. He has also asked priests to contact the nearest police stations for the security of parishes, convents, and church schools. The Catholic Church's charitable organization, Caritas Internationalis, is urging the World Food Program and the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, to resume food aid to Ethiopia. A large section of the population of the nation in the Horn of Africa is facing starvation, and food aid has been suspended because of pilfering and theft of food supplies given through humanitarian outreach programs. Caritas Internationale's Secretary General, Alistair Dutton, said in a July 3rd statement that people are starving to death in Ethiopia. He added that in recent weeks, hunger has claimed the lives of hundreds in the northern Tigray region. Dutton said that there should be a thorough investigation and a robust accountability mechanism should be put in place to prevent food aid diversion. It was on June 9th that the World Food Program announced that it was suspending food aid to Ethiopia, citing reports that donations were being diverted from needy people. USAID also said in May that it was stopping food supply to Tigray because of systematic and rampant diversion of rations meant for the starving masses. In what is seen as an effort to mitigate the exodus of Christians from Iraq and to rebuild the community, a youth gathering was recently held in Ankawa near the northern city of Erbil. The event, hosted by Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need, saw more than 1,800 young men and women from 7 archdioceses taking part from June 29th to July 1st. Leaders of the Chaldean Catholic Church were present at the youth event, which included Holy Mass, confession, retreat, seminars, and catechesis. Archbishop Bashar Warda of Erbil said that Christians are looking to the church to help rebuild their lives after the harrowing days of the Islamic State occupation. He said they depend on the church for guidance to shape their future and for basic infrastructure. The prelate expressed hope, saying that youth is the future of the Christian community in Iraq. He added that nourishing their faith and giving them hope and purpose in their lives, in their homeland, is the mission of the church. In the American state of Arizona, 12 of 15 county attorneys are demanding that Governor Katie Hobbs should rescind her recent executive order that limits them from prosecuting cases related to abortion. The attorneys sent a letter to the governor on Monday saying that the governor's office should not interfere with the discretion of prosecutors as they fulfill their duties as elected officials. However, gubernatorial spokesperson Christian Slater said Hobbs will not rescind the order, which was signed on June 22nd. The order gives Attorney General Chris Mays the mandate to handle any attempted county prosecution under abortion laws. It also prevents state agencies from assisting probes regarding alleged violations in other states. The United Nations has revealed that some 15.3 million Syrians are in need of urgent humanitarian aid, and they comprise 70% of the war-torn nation's population. The Syrian people are suffering on a massive scale, said UN Special Envoy for Syria, Geir Peterson. The envoy added that they have not seen any improvement in the reality of their lives, whether they live inside Syria or outside. There are reports that more than 50% of Syrians do not have enough food, and malnutrition is rampant. The need for assistance has become even more critical. The situation has worsened after the devastating earthquake in February, which left more than 8,000 people dead. Following the disaster, President Bashar al-Assad agreed to open crossing points for aid delivery until August. The United Nations has been pushing to keep those paths available. Human rights violation investigators instituted by the United Nations are urging the Iran government to halt the execution of those who are sentenced to death in connection with the so-called anti-government protests. The fact-finding mission in Iran told the UN Human Rights Council's 47 member states that the overall human rights situation in the country runs the risk of deterioration. This comes amid reports that a new bill is being considered which proposes harsher penalties for women and girls who do not wear the veil in public. Member of the fact-finding mission, Viviana Krisichevich, expressed concern about the continuous repression of women and girls who are opposed to the veil. She also deplored the use of facial recognition technology to identify and arrest them. Krisichevich also alleged that students are being suspended from classes or banned from dormitories for defying the veiling law. Since November last year, at least 26 individuals have been sentenced to death in connection with the so-called anti-government protests, and dozens more have been charged with offenses carrying the death penalty. The Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Pier Battista Pizzaballa, has said that there will be more casualties if the problem of Palestinian self-determination is not resolved. The head of the Latin Church in the Holy Land was responding to the Israeli attack on the Jenin refugee camp in the West Bank that left 9 Palestinians dead. Speaking to Vatican News, the Patriarch said this is not the first, and unfortunately it will not be the last time people are witnessing a military operation in the Jenin refugee camp. He also deplored the Israel army's unprecedented aggression and barbaric acts that destroy sacred sites and kill people. Archbishop Pizzaballa said that until the structural problems are resolved, painful situations with many victims will continue on both sides. Because of the Israeli military action, close to 3,000 Palestinians have left the camp. Governor Kim Reynolds of the American state of Iowa has directed the state legislature to convene for a special legislative session to enact pro-life legislation. Reynolds' office made the announcement on Wednesday, saying that the special session will begin on July 11th. This comes after the state Supreme Court declined to reinstate a 2018 abortion ban after 6 weeks of pregnancy. However, the court did not decide on the merits of the law, leaving a way open for the state legislature to pass laws that can ban abortions. In the meantime, abortion remains legal in Iowa up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Governor Reynolds said that the pro-life movement is the most important human rights cause and added that she will continue to fight against the inhumanity of abortion. Hungary wants family policy featured higher on the European Union agenda when it takes over the 6-month Council presidency in the second half of next year. Earlier this year, former Hungarian Justice Minister Judith Varga said that family policy will be the center of the agendas during the Presidential Council. According to a recent European Commission assessment, the European Union is experiencing population decline, a trend that is anticipated to continue, while other regions of the world are likely to witness population growth. Many member states have to deal with a plummeting population, and this can be explained by the European Union's average fertility rate dropping from 2.37 in 1970 to 1.53 in 2021. This trend has also led to a decrease in the working age population, while the number of people of retirement age has increased. The Apostolic Penitentiary is granting a plenary indulgence to Catholics who devoutly take part in the upcoming Third World Day for Grandparents and the Elderly on July 23rd. The Holy Father approved a decree issued by the Apostolic Penitentiary granting the indulgence to grandparents, the elderly, and all believers who take part in the liturgical celebrations presided over by the Pope in St. Peter's Basilica and holy masses offered across the world on that day. Believers can receive the indulgence provided they confess their sins, receive Holy Eucharist, and pray for the intentions of the Pope. According to Catholic belief, a plenary indulgence offers remissions of the temporal punishment due to sin already forgiven, and it can be applied to oneself or to other souls in purgatory. According to the decree, the penitentiary is also extending the plenary indulgence to those who find time to visit the elderly, the sick, and the abandoned. And those are your latest headlines. Join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.